Nissa, Vastwood Seer versus the Gitrog monster. And I don't want to knock that... Well, I do want to knock it back, but I'm not going to because I like that Manglehorn, and I'm hoping that our opponent doesn't get into Sol Ring and the like on turn 1, but chances are they're going to ramp like crazy because that's what the Gitrog monster does. Okay, we're just getting into all the 3 drops, unfortunately. We'll just get down that and pass over the turn. This Vastwood Seer is a 3-mana commander, 2/2. When it enters, we can search for a basic forest and put it into our hand. When we play a land, if it's the 7th or more land that we've played, then she flips over into a Planeswalker. She can protect herself with a 4/4 elemental token. She has kind of card draw. And then the limit break, which we never use, is -7. Untap 6 lands, they become 6/6 creatures. Okay, Dryad Arbor. What did our opponent go for with Expedition Map? They went for Urborg, so we'll probably blow that up with Wasteland. Yeah, we'll just go for Cultivate now. Get a little bit of ramp on. I was debating whether or not to go for the Dryad Arbor there. The Gitrog monster is a Golgari commander, 6/6 Death Touch for 5 mana. We play this on the channel, by the way, if any of you are interested. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice it unless you sacrifice a land. You can play an additional land on each of your turns, and whenever a land would hit your graveyard from anywhere, you draw a card. Okay, there is Retreat to Hagra. That is landfall. Creature gets +1/+0 and Death Touch, or you drain an opponent. Alright, if our opponent gets down Cabal Coffers, it's not going to do too much damage to us with the Urborg yet, so I'm not going to slam down Wasteland. I think instead what I'm going to do is go for Oracle of Muldiah. Yeah, decided to go for the Oracle of Muldiah so that we could get some ramp down, and we have another land on top, so we'll be able to make plenty of land drops with Oracle and really get ahead of our opponent. And then we can shuffle up our library with Nissa if we want to. But yeah, this is the first recording that I've done since I try and get a week's worth of recording done at a time. Just so it's not strenuous throughout the week. I'm not having to constantly jump over to the computer and get a quick game out. I try and get it all done in 1 or 2 sittings for the week. And this is the first time I've been able to acknowledge the... getting rid of Oracle of Muldiah with Go for the Throat. Yeah, first time I've been able to acknowledge the April Fool's joke that I played. Let's just go for... We won't go for Wasteland. I don't want my opponent to scoop on us. Let's get down Nissa. And then we can play a land for the turn and flip her over. But yeah, one of the people that subscribed to me said that they will only forgive me for that April Fool's joke if I play Flip Nissa. So here we are. I'll put that individual's comment up on the screen because I found it amusing. So that was a funny way of requesting Nissa Vastwood Seer. So here you are. You have to forgive me now. That was the verbal contract that was, well, the written contract that was playing for all to see on the YouTube comment section. Alright, and we flip Nissa with our 7th land. So let's get down some card draw, I think. We don't have too much going on in the hand, so I'd like to draw a card here. Okay, we get Mosswort Bridge going. I think we need 10 power for that to matter. Yeah, you can play an exile card, 10 power. Let's just go for Tooth and Nail under that. We're not too worried about anything our opponent's doing for the Bane of Progress. And we can always search for the Bane of Progress with Tooth and Nail if we want to. I'm going to get down the Manglehorn. Actually, no, let's get down Eternal Witness and we'll get that Oracle of Muldiah back because we still have plenty of lands to play. So let's get that back and we can play that next turn. Yeah, so the April Fool's joke, it really brought people into the comment section. That actually wasn't the intention. It was just genuinely a joke that I wanted to play. And I said in a previous video that I'm not really for practical jokes, but I thought that one was pretty harmless, so I decided to go ahead with it. And it really brought people to the comment section, and I had a lot of humbling and just kind and well-wishing comments that I'm very grateful for. And perhaps go for the throat again. Nope, going for the expedition map, so perhaps running short on land drops here. 6 cards in hand, but our opponent hasn't played another land, so I don't think they've got one. Yeah, a lot of really kind comments and just really generally nice things being said, and I'm very grateful to all of you for that. I want to do the best I can on this channel for you all, so hopefully you all enjoy this gameplay. Let's get down the token so that we can get closer to this Mosswort Bridge. And then we can go Dryad Arbor, and that is 4, 6, 8, 9. I don't want to blow up the expedition map because I think our opponent's going to scoop to that, so just know that that is the play. If you are a cutthroat player, you definitely want to just blow up the expedition map. They'll probably go for Cabal Coffers, in which case we might leave it around for a turn or two, but we can definitely wasteland that once it's of a concern to us. And then Doomblade really packing the spot removal here. Yeah, we can't Mosswort Bridge in response to that. We can make another one of those things. We could actually... Yeah, that's something we can do next turn. We can make another token, kill off Nissa, and then play her out for 5 mana again, and then flip her over straight away with a land. So, yeah, I think that's what we go for next turn. What did our opponent... Okay, they went for the Verdant Catacombs, so they probably wanted a fetch land in play so that they could maybe make use of something like a Ramunap or a Crucible of Worlds. If you have a fetch land going into your graveyard, you can consistently make land drops if you have a Crucible or something like that. And we're being drained every time our opponent makes a land drop. Now we're getting into Steel Hellkite. There's a Gaia's Cradle. So we'll definitely play that. And then we're going to minus down Nissa. And we're going to have to shuffle away that forest, unfortunately. So let's go for Nissa. We can't make a land drop before we play Nissa because we've only got 2 for the turn. And we want to flip her over this turn. Okay, well we've got a Boseiju on top. And we've got 4, 6, 8 and 9 power again. Let's go... Yeah, let's go like that for Steel Hellkite. That will allow us to activate Mosswort Bridge if we want to. And I'll get this Boseiju off the top of the library. We reveal a Woodfall Primus. Yeah, I think we can draw into Woodfall Primus actually from Nissa. Okay, and there's a Genesis Wave. Now we need to decide if we want to activate Mosswort Bridge or not. I think we'll just swing in with the Dryad Arbor and Oracle to Lightning Bolt our opponent and leave it there. I don't think we're going to activate Mosswort Bridge actually. I'd quite like to get down. It's not often on the channel that we get to activate a big Genesis Wave. So I think that's what we're going to go for. This thing is 3 green and X. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You can put any number of permanents with CMC X or less from among them onto the battlefield. So obviously the more mana you put into X, the better. There's that Crucible of Worlds, so shows why our opponent was going after a fetch land. Oh, and there's a Zeusa as well. That is a lethal combination. They'll make use of it this turn. But we're definitely going to get rid of Crucible with the Manglehorn next turn because we can't have our opponent doing this. We'll let them catch up on mana for this turn. I think they've only played the 1 land, haven't they? What they should do here... Yeah, I was going to say, I thought they were just going to pass through their turn there. Azusa allows them to play 2 additional lands every turn. And that coupled up with Crucible of Worlds, if you've got a fetch, you can just play it out. Well, you can get 3 lands out of your graveyard for the turn with that combination. Satyr Wayfinder coming down, and that will... I think that's a land that goes for. You may put a land from amongst them into your hand from the top 4 cards of your library, the rest go into the graveyard. And does our opponent hit a land off that? I don't think they did. Oh no, they got a forest out of that, I think. Okay, so we get into Genesis Wave. There's a Karn liberated, so we know at least one of the things that we're about to flip over. Yeah, we'll leave Nissa for now. Let's go for... We'll go for the Manglehorn onto Crucible of Worlds and stop our opponent's shenanigans with Azusa. And then this makes artifacts come into play tapped as well, so it's even good with its static ability. And then with that, let's play a couple of lands out so that we can dump even more mana into the Genesis Wave. And then we want to leave up 3 mana for Steel Hellkite, because we can blow up the Azusa and the retreat to Hagra with that as well. And we want to put at least 7 into X here, because that will get down Karn liberated for us. Yeah, I'm just going to put 7 into X. That way we can pay 3 for Steel Hellkite, and we can activate Mosswarp Bridge if we want to. Oh, and we actually don't get a whole lot there. We've got Karn liberated and some lands. And then a Lifecrafter's Bestiary on top. Let's just... Yeah, we can activate that. We'll draw that. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Okay, Primeval Bounty on top is really good as well. We're just really outvaluing our opponent here. We've got them going faster than they have. Let's go in with Steel Hellkite. And the Ashaya. Yeah, and Azusa blocks there. She might as well, because we're going to blow it up anyway. Our opponent could not block and encourage us to put 3 into the Steel Hellkite though. But this way we get rid of all our opponent's non-land permanents. So that block is fine with me. They've got a lot of life. They didn't necessarily need to block there. And then we destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost of X. And that will be 3 into Steel Hellkite, blowing up Azusa and the retreat to Hagra. And then we might as well get down the Lifecrafter's Bestiary. And we'll plus Karn, just making it more difficult to remove, and it gets a card out of our opponent's hand as well. And with all this, we can pass it over to our opponent and activate Mosswarp Bridge if we feel the need to. I don't think we really do need to just yet though. Oh, and there's a Crypt Gas. That goes really well with Urborg. I'm not in too much of a rush to get rid of Urborg because it goes well with our Ancient Tomb and the Boseiju. They can both tap for mana without us paying any life, and our opponent's gotten our life total down. Not too low, but low enough that I want to be considerate of how much life we put into lands. Oh, an Avenger of Zendikar as well, really good. Let's see if our opponent's going to extort us. Luckily we can deal with our opponent's plant tokens with a Steel Hellkite. We can just put 0 into Steel Hellkite and get rid of all those plant tokens. So that's not too concerning. Okay, we're definitely going to keep the Primeval Bounty on top. We can get a lot of value out of that. We put that on top and draw into it, and there's a Prime Time as well. Don't need to worry about landfall, so we'll just get both of these lands out. And we'll show our opponent that we're not going to wasteland them by tapping it for mana. And then Primeval Bounty gets us creature tokens, +1/+1 counters on creatures, and it gains us some life as well. Then we go and exile the Crypt Ghast. I don't want to leave sticking around. And we'll swing in with Steel Hellkite. And then we'll put 0 into Steel Hellkite, and that'll get rid of those plant tokens. And then why don't we... We'll save the Woodfall Primus, I think. Have we plussed with... Oh, we haven't plussed with Nissa. That would have been a bad play to miss out on a Primeval Titan. We can shuffle away the Wood Elves here. And because we've cast a creature spell, Primeval Bounty will throw out a beast token for us, and Lifecrafter's Bestiary lets us pay green and draw a card. So we will, and we'll get into that Wood Elves. And then, yeah, I don't mind shuffling away the Growing Rights of Itlamok. Blighted Woodland and Nykthos is more mana for us. And a land enters a couple of times, so that is 3 life per primeval bounty trigger. And then we'll go for the Wood Elves, and we'll put green into Wood Elves so that we can draw a card again. And this is really the point that we want to get to with this deck. Lots of triggers, and then we can start drawing cards and playing even more stuff. And there's already a land on top of our library, so we'll grab another one with the Wood Elves. That'll gain us even more life. And then just for a bit more overkill, props to our opponent for playing this out, by the way. I don't know what the last card in their hand is, but they're obviously intrigued to see what we've got going here. We'll put the counters onto the Steel Hellkite just because it's the easiest to get through to our opponent. Refill our hand here. And then we get to play... Yeah, I think we go for Acidic Slime. And a creature enters, so we get another token. And I will stop all this in a minute. I don't want to make fun of my opponent. And we'll just blow up any land, it doesn't really matter. Exploration comes down, so we put some counters on some stuff. We get an extra land off the top thanks to Oracle. Oh, and a Nissa Vital Force. I really like that card. We can play Elvish Mystic to get another card draw. And I want to draw into that Elvish Mystic. Into the Nissa from the Elvish Mystic. And I think we can just leave it there, actually. Yeah, we've activated Nissa. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. We can discard Uncage the Menagerie. Turned into a little bit of a solitaire game there. And it often happens with green. You can do so much with green decks that... Oh, and our opponent gets into Boundless Realms, so they're ramping like crazy themselves. Still only have one card in hand, so I'm wondering if they have a big X spell like some kind of Exsanguinate effect or something like that. I think it's going to be a turn too late for them though, if that's what they have. And then lots of triggers onto the Avenger of Zendikar. Luckily we got rid of all our opponent's plant tokens, otherwise that would have been a big problem for us. Still, Hellkite's done some work this game. And Boundless Realms, for anyone who doesn't know, is search your library for X basics and put them into play, where X is the number of lands you control. Now then, I think we need to get a win out as quickly as we can, because I don't want my opponent thinking that we're making fun of them. So let's go in for the Mosswort Bridge. We'll go for Tooth and Nail. We'll put 2 creature cards from our hand into play. We'll put counters onto Prime Time, because that has Trample. And then we'll go for Vorinclex and Regal Force, because obviously Regal Force will refill our hand. Even though it was already full, it'll just draw us a boatload of cards here. 1 card per green creature we control. And then Vorinclex will give us all the mana that we need to do whatever we want. We have a lot of mana from Nykthos and from Gaia's Cradle, and we're about to get even more from Vorinclex. And there's nothing else we can do. I don't want a Worldly Tutor, it's just taking up more time from our opponent. Scry, we can put the Forest on the bottom and draw into something else, hopefully. We get into the Skura Tribe Elder. Let's get rid of the opponent's card. See what they have in exile. This might be enough to make them concede if they were hoping to get into an Exsanguinate. Okay, I don't think that's gone into exile, has it? Okay, I don't know what that card was, but they don't have a card in hand anyway. It's not in exile for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but let's just try and get things going as quickly as possible. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have lethal on our opponent now, I'm almost certain, so let's just turn everything sideways. No need to drag the game out any longer than it needs to. Massive props to my opponent here for playing this out. And I'm actually just going to quickly say yes, because I want to grab Reliquary Tower and then anything else. And we gain 6 life just to rub salt in the wound of our opponent. But yeah, being a great sport and just taking this on the chin, so really, really grateful to our opponent for that. And yeah, if you play Magic Online and you come across Diablo 2 in the lobby, then just know that that's a good player. Yeah, they let us play around a little bit there. It turned into a little bit of solitaire magic. I played that through as quickly as I could, but we needed to get a lot of power onto the board so that we could go wide on our opponent for lethal, and they allowed us to do that without just quitting out. Says a lot about someone when they just allow the damage through and give you the satisfaction of the victory, so big props to Diablo 2 for that. And I hope that you specifically, DR, enjoyed this video. You're the one that requested it, so I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you forgive me for my April Fool's prank now. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.